Mr. Tony Grebmeier, awesome to have you here, man. How are you?
I'm fantastic, man. It's awesome to be with you today.
You too, man. I'm just checking right now to make sure that our live streams are working properly, and then we're going to roll into it. What do you got going on today, man? How's life? How's biz? What's happening?
Life's good, man. My nephew just rolled into town, so he's going to be living with us for the next 5 weeks. So I'm certainly excited. Recently moved out of the suburbs into the country, so you need help during the summer figuring out how to take care of acreage. So I'm blessed and honored that he said, "Yeah, I'll come and join you." So got a ranch hand to help me and learning a lot of new stuff. So I'm excited.
Awesome,
Life is good. Business is amazing. Couldn't be happier, more excited. And I think the most important thing is I'm present with you today. So that's a really good thing.
Well, it's awesome to have you here. And whenever we get these kind of moments to do this with everybody, it's always a lot of fun because I get this type of conversation every week, which is amazing. But I know that not everybody out there has someone like you in their life. So thank you for being a critical part of each and every part of my journey. That just always comes with such an amazing feeling of being supported and also knowing that there's somebody who's got your back. Not everybody has that. And I know that. And I see that's tremendous value showcasing in my life every single day, man. So thank you. Can I do a quick intro on you and then we can get rocking? Does that sound okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, homie. All right. So guys, thank you so much for being here today at 10 Year Thursday. I'm going to be talking today with Tony Grebmeier around building your unfair advantage and how to become a better entrepreneur. And Tony, for those of you who don't know Tony, he's also my personal mentor and professional mentor, if you want to kind of put it in that context as well. He helps me in all things life and business. And I would be rather feeling lost without you, brother. So I'm really grateful you're here. Grateful for your friendship and your camaraderie and your leadership in my life. So today we're going to jump in, though, really where we believe the journey starts and finishes, which comes down to perspective and mindset. So what I'm thinking is we're going to talk through maybe some drainers and drivers, how to become kind of more efficient in our performance as entrepreneurs. And then at the end of the day, and how somebody can shift their entire worldview and perspective around the circumstances, situations, whatever they may be facing in life right now, to have a more fulfilled journey, but also at the end of the day, to be able to really create that new reality that's required to get to the next level. So for those of you who are on, let's give it up for Tony Grebmeier. Thank you for being here, man. We're pumped. And so really, really appreciate you. So why don't you open it up, man? What has been, the primary thing for you that stood out in the last, 21 years of you building your company? Like, what's been the hardest moment and what's been the biggest lesson that you found up to this point?
I love it. I think there's a couple things there. I mean, I'd love to jump in and tell you that lessons over the last 21 years. I mean, every day is a lesson. No one's seen today. So what can you learn from it and hopefully apply it to some future thinking? But thinking is the biggest thing, and changing my thinking over the last 21 years, becoming adaptable, like being somebody who, you may be headstrong in a specific area, but somebody in your tech team or somebody in the warehouse, somebody on your sales team says, "Hey, why don't you try this?" And perspective is something that often we don't have when we're going through it. We have perspective when we reflect. And so finding a way to spend time in reflection has also been something has been a pivotal kind of key to my success. When I talk about my success, I'm just talking about being somebody who has chosen to go first. I'm only successful because of the people I've surrounded myself with. And along that, I've surrounded myself with people who have helped me to become the person I am today. No matter if you're in my life, you played an important role in getting me to this point in my life. So some of you, we went our separate ways, but it doesn't mean that I don't think about you or appreciate you or value you. Everybody has taught me a lesson. My good neighbor, our neighbor, Todd McGuire, always says, everybody's a teacher. They're either teaching you something to do or something not to do. So I think that's been something huge for myself. Also, if I could go back to a specific time, I would tell you, like, when you're not being truly authentic to yourself. And I was writing a post, I'm going to share it a little bit later, about when you kind of feel off. And it's okay to be off. It's just not okay not to do something about it. But if you start to feel that the days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, then you definitely need to say and do something. And for me, my journey, I got stuck in like 2008, really, really bad. Upside down, life, marriage, everything was falling apart. And it wasn't until I changed my stinking thinking that my life began to change. And so I tell anybody today, no matter where you're at, what you're going through, drive down the road in the middle of a rainstorm and you're like, oh, I should have changed my windshield wipers. I should have done that. Sometimes when you're in the midst, you think about all the things you should have done. Prepare now for what may come so that you're ready on that rainy day when you're driving down the middle of a storm and your windshield wipers are gone. And you're like, oh, I should have changed them. Today is the day you begin to make that change.
Wow. Woof. I mean, it's a gut punch because it's so honest and real. And I also know so much of your story that this is something that you truly live and breathe and practice every single day. Leading the witness here a little bit, but I know your mom was really the most important mentor in your life. What do you feel like was the one thing or the one conversation you had with her that changed everything?
Well, I mean, when I was like really messed up, separated, my whole life was kind of falling apart. I don't want to spend a lot of time in the past because the past is nothing more than a preview of your future if you choose to. It'll repeat itself. So I work really, really hard daily to not make my past be my future. My mom really just said one thing, you need help. And I said, no, I didn't. And that lasted for 44 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You argued with your mom, you're stubborn, hard-headed. You think you know everything, no matter if you're, 80 and your mom's still alive, or if you're 8 years old, you think you know everything. And it wasn't until about the 44 mark where I just said, you know what, Mom, I do need help. My mom wasn't going to waver because she knew that she needed to stay true to what she knew I needed help with, because she dealt with my father and family members. And that's, I struggle with alcoholism. I struggle with, putting the plug in the jug, and when I was drinking, I wasn't thinking. And when I wasn't thinking, then things happened, and that caused a lot of drama and problems for everybody. So my mom just poured into me as any mother should. Today, I haven't had a chance to call my mom yet, but I talk to my mom every day. I'm blessed to be able to do that. And so I make sure that my mom and I still have that conversation, and I learn to lean into my mom because my mom's filled with wisdom. She's seen me grow up, my sister grow up. She was a special ed teacher. She's been married. What's today's date?
10th, June 10.
Yeah. So today is 21 years of marriage to her husband, Tony. So it's like making sure, like she definitely, has a lot of wisdom. She lives 6 months out of the year in the UK. So my mom just teaches me a lot. And I think that's something that a lot of us forget, is that our parents have a lot to teach us. They don't want to just raise us and watch us leave. I mean, everybody wants to see their kids grow up. But I call my mom because my mom just sees things differently than I see them. And it's super helpful for her to be able to share those insights with me.
Amazing, dude. I love it. It's huge. It's awesome. Let's kind of switch gears into the entrepreneur track, because I know that as we preview the most important conversations and or people in our lives, growing a successful business the way that you have. I mean, you guys have over doubled your revenue in the last year with ship offers, and just have had this incredible pathway to winning. And certainly it comes with a lot of celebrations, unique opportunities, of course, to overcome unique things in business. But what's the origination story? And then how did you get to where you're at today? Like, what were some of the hurdles you had to jump over in the process?
Phone users, don't call me right now. I'm on a live stream. And hey, that's my mom. Go figure that one out. That's my mom.
Yeah, dude, holy cow.
So I would say the origination story is that I was, a guy in radio, and I still remember this like it was yesterday. And I got a phone call from a friend who said, hey, would you ever think about doing something else besides radio? And I said, well, what do you mean? He says, the internet's coming. And I said, the internet, what is that thing? And he's saying, like the thing that you hear when you start up your computer and you connect to AOL, Prodigy, Earthlink, CompuServe back in the day. And it was like, and he said that was going to be one of the biggest things coming. And I needed to spend some time learning it. And so I learned how to program, write code, and saw something really in the code, which was an opportunity. And I took that opportunity, and that started my journey about 26, 27 years ago of really just pounding on the keyboard, trying to figure out how to make the internet work, right? And I don't look at the internet like a user looks at the internet today. thanks to, running a marketing company behind a shipping company and a data company. Knowing that, users are tracked, users are led down funnels and shown different things along their journey. And I don't listen to the radio the same way either. I turn up commercials and turn down music because I know where to get paid. Commercials get you paid. So I look at things completely different. And so as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, as an owner operator, I'm always seeing where we can improve, because you only get one opportunity to do it right. And then after that, you're making an excuse. And I spent a lot of time early on in my career banging my head against the wall and didn't realize that simple term is like, just do it right from the beginning. Don't take shortcuts. A lot of people like to take a shortcut because, it's the windfall. They think, oh, it's all the money I'm making. And I'm like, yeah, but if you do it wrong, you're going to spend years making up for it. So do it right from the beginning. And so my journey really I became a millionaire really fast. I didn't know how to manage my money. And basically, I was broke. I was $1 million in debt. And that was a good lesson because I'd also had it modeled for me from my father. I also had it modeled multiple times. So I saw success. I saw the glamour. I saw all of it. And then I saw the, what did I do? And then really that's where mentoring, like even you, came in, is just teaching what I've gone through to help people avoid the pitfalls. Because Success Mountain is what I talk about a lot. And I just talk about being a Sherpa, going up and down it, having somebody Sherpa'd me up and down it. There is no straight line. And I think a lot of people think if I just do this, I'll get that. I'm like, that's crazy, because even the straightest road that you've ever gone on gets potholes, right? It needs to be repaired. Like you're constantly going to be working. So just because it looks good, it doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be a smooth ride. And so along the journey, I think really just being able to be forthright with how you're really feeling. Because, during the midst of your success, there is not necessarily an easy breezy, soft and, calm way. It's like, for me, my team knows when it's calm, there's a storm coming. Good or bad, there's a storm coming. So you're making money today. What about tomorrow? Are you calling your customers? Are you picking up the phone? Are you doing all that you can to like really engage with them? Or are you sitting back, just counting your Benjamins and going, hey, look at me, look at me. And I'm like, in my 26-year career, I've never had a chance to take a day off. I've said it personally. I think on my honeymoon, I had a beeper. I still ran to the phone to just make calls. I don't remember taking a day off. And I was talking to Courtney from my team today, and she said, I think it's time you take some time off. And I said, I do. But the first words came out of my mouth was, I wonder what it would be like for Doug, because that's my business partner. And I don't know how to just check out. That's another trap of being an entrepreneur. I want to tell people, if you own a business, you think about your business 24/7. For successful businesses to really mature and become successful, you've got to build a team, but you will never find anybody on your team that will take as much passion and control as an owner operator. You just won't. And you have to give somebody a share in your company for them to think differently. Because otherwise they have a clock in, clock out mentality. For sure. And, at 11 o'clock at night, something's going wrong. They're like, oh, somebody else will do it. When you own the business, it's at 11 o'clock at night, you're the one fixing it.
You do it. Yeah. So 100%, man. Wow. There was something that you kind of mentioned in between, kind of this general idea around like where we're focusing our attention and how that attention then translates, of course, to the future. And focusing on the present and the future, I think are really key elements. So like when you started developing the Be Fulfilled brand, which is, right, you talk about fulfillment as the big idea around, it's shipping and logistics for your company, but it's also when it comes to life for people. And drainers and drivers, I know has been something that's huge for me. Clients that we've had, I've had a ton of people go through it. The origination for Be Fulfilled and how that translates today into drainers and drivers and how that whole idea came about. I want to give people an opportunity to check it out and have that 5-day journey. You want to just kind of invite people into that experience and let them know how it came about?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I got to tell you, man, I love your style. I love how you flow. The Kevin Cohen, a good friend of mine, and I know a good friend of yours, used to talk to me all the time, 2011, 2012, what are the things draining you? What are the things that are driving you? where's the passion that you have for life and business? And I said, it was this or that. And we started putting things down on paper, and one thing led to another. And he wasn't doing anything with the concept, and he heard it from somebody. I'm like, I'm going to run with drainers and drivers, because drainers and drivers is something you can apply to any area of your life. It is 100% free at drainersanddraivers.com. And for God forbid something doesn't go right there, just befulfilledcourses.com, and you can find it. Drainers and drivers is one of those things that when you feel like you're stuck, just take out a piece of paper, 8.5 by 11 sheet, and just write down all of the things that are draining you right now in your life. It may be your relationship. It may be your finances. It may be people in your business. It may be yourself. Just put them down on paper. But on the other side of that paper, put all the things down that are driving us. Also, as humans, we like to beat ourselves up. We're like a punching bag. We just love to just jab, jab, jab. And the little voices up top, as my good friend Chris Valona always says, the little rat is spinning around in the wheel, chirping all day long, just gnawing. And what you have to do is quiet that. You have to quiet that down to the point where you can actually be in gratitude. So drainers and drivers can flip too. So what's draining you today can be driving you tomorrow. So don't be like, oh my gosh, like that's not something. I'm like, it's very, very clear and easy. Your good buddy Mike Zale helped me record some updated content, so we threw that up. It's a 5-day free course. I don't need anything from you. You can put all fake information as long as you got a real email address. I'm not going to market to you. That's not the whole goal. The whole goal is that you'll get delivered content every single day for 5 days that'll help you hopefully see some things where you can change in your life. When you're hiring people for your company, I get everybody to get up on a whiteboard. Give me the 3 things that drained you at your last job, the 3 things that drove you at the last job. Those are insights, keys. I write them down. My team writes them down. Hey, when we're doing this and we're not listening to that person, we already know it's going to cause a problem, because it's the same thing that happened at the last company. It's insightful, and you can ask, there's a challenge in it. Ask somebody in your life to give you some of their drainers and drivers. And that's a vulnerable moment, and you'll maybe like what they have to say, and you may be hurt a little bit by what they have to say. But it's an opportunity for us to get feedback, because we walk around with blind spots, right? So we have blind spots, and we don't know it, but our friends do. Invite some of your closest friends to help you see your blind spots, and drainers and drivers will just explode in your life.
Dude, I want to ask one question around that, because I've gone through this, and so I've seen it, but I'm curious kind of what prompted that for you. So the value point of asking someone else who's close, who has proximity to your life, who's on your team, maybe it's even your partner or wife, or in any circumstance or situation, like somebody who's really, really close to you. Why did you add that element of asking somebody for the honest truth? Because I found for me, it was one of the most eye-opening, valuable things, because it was totally different than what I thought the person was going to say. And for me, it was indifferent. It wasn't good or bad. It just was outside information that I couldn't believe that, I started with my wife and asked her, and we'll be married 8 years this year, and I would have never known. It's nothing I could have predicted. So why was that added? Because it's, in my opinion, probably one of the most valuable parts of the whole experience.
Do you want the real truth?
Yes, I do.
So I was filming content, and Mike was sitting across from me, and I'm like, I really think it's important that I address what I think most of us forget to do, and that is to recap our day and go back. And so in the Be Fulfilled Journal, I taught it and teach it, go back and review kind of who you are and what went on. And I was just sitting across from Mike, and we were just rolling film, and I'm like, I think I'm just going to do this. And I just wanted to ask that question, because I think so much we think it, but we don't ask it. So then we go around wondering. Why don't you go around asking the people who you care most about and the people who are in your life what the real stuff they're thinking about and how it applies to you, and get a fresh perspective. I know for a fact that it's not easy. And I had a buddy text me. He's like, what do you think is my drainer? And I'm like, dude, I'm not answering this, 1, over a text. Number 2, pick up the phone and call me, and we can have that conversation. And here's what was interesting. It's a good friend of mine. And so I shared a little glimpse of kind of what I saw. And he's like, wow, isn't that interesting? He knows that I picked that up from Jim Rohn, and I use it all the time. He had the same conversation with somebody else, got the same perspective. And his blind spot is no longer a blind spot. It becomes a choice. So
Yes.
when, your wife, Ashley, shared what she shared, let's just call, if that's who it was,
Yeah.
she displayed some information to you. She shared it. And no longer are those blind spots. Now they're choices, and you have to choose, right? Are you going to just go, okay, that's great, thanks, have a nice day? Or are you going to actually do something about it? And that's when you step into, I think, your next level of genius is when you say, hey, you know what? I've heard it from enough people. It's time to do something about it.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible, man. It's literally a daily choice. I did it, the one time going through this specific course, and it's something I revisit a lot of the sheet of paper. But going through the course, asking the hard questions, and I asked a couple more people in my life and got not the same responses, but they're a little bit more tactical. And it's amazing how someone who's involved in your life every single day, they have the ability to see the best version of you. And it's interesting when it's solicited versus non-solicited. And I think a lot of people would agree that like when you actually prompt someone, empathy is opened up for them to be able to respond truly from their heart. And they're actually pointing out the biggest blind spot, I believe, to your greatest ability, to your superpower. And for her, it was based on energy. She's like, really what drains me is like when you're not showing up and you're happy and elated and there and connected. And I thought it would have been something silly, like that you don't pick this thing or that thing up when you walk up the stairs, and it wasn't. She saw truly, I think the invitation created an opportunity for empathy to exist, where it's not just tactically, I want you to do this or that, or task driven, just do these things differently. It was, no, I want to see you operate at your best. And I know what that looks like. And I also know what it doesn't look like. And so it was like a surprise attack. Like, well, bam, like I got flanked by the truth. And at the same time, I invited it. So the blow didn't hurt as hard when you kind of get right hooked to the mouth and go like, crap, they're right.
Can you go back to like when you first dated your partner? Think about that. Go back to like that. She wants that.
Yeah.
But she's grown to see how much you can become, right? And she loves now seeing you in your zone of genius. And there's a couple of our good friends on there, Vernon and Tim and Val and Mackenzie. I was talking to Tim today, and we were talking about, Lego Master and all the success that he's having right now. It's on Fox. He's like, have you watched? I'm like, no. He's like, I live on a ranch. I have satellite internet. I'm just being brutally honest with you. But we still talk passionately about how to improve as humans. And I said, hey, my nephew's in town. And I just told him that today. I'm like, my nephew's here. I'm going to sit with my nephew and I'm going to watch it with him. And one of the reasons why is I think, he's been doing some great stuff with his brand and their building blocks, and they're really great pieces. Well, when you and Ashley were first dating, there were building blocks there. And if you've ever built with Legos, you're like looking around for pieces that are missing. They're just missing. And when she fills in the blanks and so helps you to kind of get your pieces together, you build a strong foundation, because you have to have a strong foundation.
It's true.
And then to level up and build another room in your house, and for you or me, I'm in upstairs. So like right above me, right above this padding, I live in a steel building, is the roof, and there's some insulation. I'm sitting here like, I think I'm in a sauna. So now I know where my summer sauna is. I'm freaking dripping. And you're in the basement, is they want us on the ground floor again. They don't want us up here, and they don't want us down in the basement. They want us the way that they found us, and they want to grow with us in that regards. That's why we feel sometimes that our spouses or significant others are harping on us, because we just say, I just need a little bit more time to work. I need a little bit more time to do this. And the reality is all they want is that. And our job is to do both. Because if I stop doing what I know to be doing, my wife and I are going to be living here anymore. I'm going to go back to living in my apartment. Life is not going to be good, but my wife will be with me no matter what, because she loves me for who I am. So I know that you struggle with this. I struggle with this, I don't believe there's a balance. I've been on a teeter-totter before. There's no balance, right? You put a big, heavy boulder on the other side and you fly off of it. You put something like a feather and you sit on the ground. So your goal is to do your part every single day. So,
and does that boil down to choices, Tony? Is that what it is? It boils down to decisions.
100% choices. Vernon Verdon, who's on here right now, I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, calls me up. He was somewhere, and I was like, buy a plane ticket, go get out of the mess that you're in. He's like, why? What? I can't. I'm like, you can do anything you want. Click, hung up the phone, calls me back. He's like, I bought a ticket. And he went down to Medellin, Colombia, and like he was gone. And then his life transformed and changed because he got back to salsa dancing, which is something, a passion of his. Next thing you know, one choice led to another choice, led to another choice. I don't believe there's right or wrong choices. I think there's just opportunities and obligations in the moment where some people can't think past today. And I am a believer that if you want something so bad, I don't care what it is that you want. I don't care. Like Amber and I had no desire to buy 35 acres out in the country pre-pandemic. If you wanted to know, I want to go live in Italy 6 months out of the year. That's it. So we put all that on pause, sold, left the suburbs, moved to the country. Don't know a freaking thing about it, but I'm having so much fun. Now every day when I go to work or wherever I'm at, I just want to get home. And so the opportunity presented itself, and now new choices. So I am a believer that you're going to be presented today and for the rest of your life with a lot of opportunities. There's a great quote, the possibilities are endless. But if you sit for too long in an opportunity, I believe you'll miss the real opportunity. And that is growth. And growth only happens when you get into action. And so as entrepreneurs, business owners, husband, father, friend, you have to get into action with people in your life. You know it, you've been around me. I get bored really easy with conversation. I'm like, piss off. Like, because I'm like, I'd rather go do something that's meaningful than sit and talk to somebody who doesn't want change in their life. Because I can't be your change agent. Only you can. You may hear something from me or Tim or Vernon or Ashley or Val or Mackenzie or Owen or whoever's in your life and not get it. But walk down the street, take out the trash can, and a neighbor walks up and go, hey, how are you? Good. Talk for 30 seconds and go, got it. Sometimes the message comes from a different messenger. So you need to have people in your life that pour into you.
Amazing. Holy cow, man. Just the truth bombs just keep on coming. This chat overlay really quick is just going to show some people chatting about what's going on here. So I just trying to show some of those. Oh, there's Jamie O'Connor said, oh, hey, which is pretty awesome. And
you just had her on your show, right?
Yeah, she was incredible, man. Oh my gosh, she's a freaking genius. Tony G in the house. Val said, so what's up, Ravi? Val said, Drainers and Drivers, one of the best courses I've ever taken, which is pretty dope. This one's really cool for Mackenzie as well. She said, having the Drainers and Drivers conversation with my friends have been some of the most pivotal conversations I've ever had. I can attest to that as well. Like, I mean, just getting people in that frame. And the next question I'm going to ask you, Tony, is how to turn a drainer into a driver, because I know that's part of the equation. And of course, you go over it in the Be Fulfilled course, but I just want to kind of put that in there for you. That's something we can talk through. Tim said, thank you so much and appreciate the honesty. This is why it takes a village. We saw this here from Annie. And then Big Wayne said, love you guys. This is so good. So what's up, Dad? Good to see you.
Pops,
so Tony,
showing up.
We got about like 5 minutes or so left. So one thing I just want to ask about, and then we'll kind of get into the end, is specifically around how to turn a drainer in your life into a driver. Because there is something rather magical about the awareness that that's possible for us to do.
I think you have to ask yourself two things first. How much pain are you in? And then are you willing to do something about it? You can first ask those two questions. I think then you'll get the answer really easy. Most of us like being stuck. I really do. I think people like all of the drama that comes with being stuck. And then you can complain to your friends all the time. Look, this keeps happening to me. And I'm like, I literally go to wisdom from like Yoda. I really do. Like, it's so crazy, but I think like you do or you do not. Like there is no try. So like for me, when I'm feeling stuck, it's because I haven't taken time for myself. I haven't taken a quiet moment, put pen to paper, started looking at what was really going on. And I love doing a spider chart. And I don't know if I talk about this much, but take your drainer and spider off and ask yourself, kind of pretend like it's the hump and then you're making the legs, about all of the other areas of your life that it's affecting, your personal relationships, your sex, your finances, all of this. And then ask yourself, are you ready to squash the bug? Are you ready to step on it today and do something about it? And most of us, I really truly believe, like the drama, and I'm not into the drama. I have no time for it. So what I rather would see you do is say, okay, now I've acknowledged it, and now you're one of those few people. We'll talk about it. Out of 100, I'd probably say 3 people really want transformational change.
Wow.
Out of those 3 people, the people who really, really want it are not going to make any excuses. They're going to be the ones who are saying, man, I'm done. I'm over it. I'm ready to go 100% all in. What does it take? Nick, meet me at the Sundial House, sit down, bring your computer, open up your laptop. Let's go through everything. Let's figure out a plan. And you were there. Remember, you were on calls with me. Other people wouldn't take me up on my offer. You were one of the 3 that did. So you got to be in enough pain, and you got to be willing and wanting to do something about it. Then real transformation changes. Nothing else matters. It doesn't matter what the drainer is. The moment you acknowledge that you want change, it ultimately becomes a driver. And now you'll figure out if you want it in your life anymore.
People are going nuts. Dude, oh my gosh. There is so much in there. And so many and it's the motivator of pain and discomfort that often will allow us the agitation to do something about it, man. So Tony's hairspray.
All I can tell you, no, it's like, I'm so hot. All I can tell you is, when it is to the point where you want change and you are ready for transformation, something magical is going to happen. So I'd love to offer this, because you and your team are absolutely amazing. If there's somebody out here today that I haven't talked to that's watching, that'd love to jump like on a 15-minute call, Nick can help get it arranged, drop, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. Look, my life is about helping people to find fulfillment, both personally and professionally. 100% of my life is contribution and connection, how to give back. So it wouldn't be good for me to show up on a show and not do that. So Nick didn't know this was coming. Nick, somebody who doesn't have a conversation with me going already, isn't on my phone and speed dial, isn't somebody who can reach out and text me. I want to talk to somebody new who maybe is somebody around the world, that you're in a specific area of your life and you're ready to make that step towards change, not just talk about it. I'd love to have a 15-minute conversation, free of charge, nothing. All that you're going to give me is your time. All I'm going to give you is my time, and let's see what we can do to collaborate.
Incredible. Guys, take him up on it. I was in a group with Tony, and someone said, hey, Tony, I really need your help. I'm just struggling so much with the business. And right. And business is always a reflection of life, and it's a mirror to your personal life. And Tony said, all right, sweet. Friday, 5:45, why don't you come on over and stop by the house and we'll just spend a half hour together and solve it. Well, I got a couple things going on and I don't know. And I mean, for me at this time, I got 3 kids at home, it's at that time I had a 3-month-old was our youngest. My business had just completely blown up, like safety, security, all those things were gone. And I'm just like, I'll be there. Like, yo, if you're not going to take that, I said on the call, like, I'm going to do that. So Tony, can I grab it? If he's not going to I did it right in front of the guy. Why? Well, because hey, if you don't speak up and jump in, that's the deal. So if that's you, just speak up and jump in and do it. And I think it's going to be one of those things that just absolutely transforms your life. Life happens in moments and interruptions. And I know for you in my life, Tony, it was a positive interruption of where somebody took a miscalculated 1% step and I just jumped right into that opportunity, and it certainly changed my world. So thank you.
Yeah. And you got the best shirt on, right? Be a good person. Most people, I would say every person on here is born to be good. And along the way, they feel like the decisions they made take away from their opportunity to do good. And I said, no, it's about doing better the moment you realize it's time to do better. I got that shirt. I love that sweatshirt. Be a good person. I walk into stores and people go, that's so easy. I'm like, yeah, and so hard to do. But the moment you realize that you are willing and ready to have transformational breakthroughs in your life, find a Sherpa, find a mentor. It doesn't cost any money. Find somebody that you can be accountable to, because accountability first starts with yourself. I got to be accountable to myself for my God-given abilities. And then I need to find somebody that I can work with, because that's just really what it's a lot easier to do anything with somebody than to do it by yourself. You can just talk about stories and get out of the weeds and really get into the soil. And the soil is the stuff that I tell people that you want to dig your hands into. You want to get into the soil. That's all, Nick. That's all you did. I didn't do anything for you other than hold space so you could get stuff off your chest. And then I just kind of navigated the water a little bit for you. You did all the sailing. You put the anchors down where they needed to go. You figured out what you needed to row in your boat. And next thing you know, bam, everything takes off. So I'm just holding space for you to be that guy who keeps getting an opportunity to change. We all need change, and it's all possible for every single one of us. So thank you very much for having me on today. Hopefully we gave some insights to some people. And look, I'll listen and hear a lot of stuff coming back, but take me up on my offer, and I can't wait to see what we create together.
Awesome. I love it. So if you're interested in having a quick convo with Tony, just hit me up, send me a DM, and I can get a connection point happening there for just for someone who's on this call who really feels like they need it. Give me a little context just briefly on your situation, maybe where you're stuck, how Tony can help, so I can give them just a little bit of insight ahead of time. And also, don't forget to go to drainersanddrivers.com where you can go take the 5-day challenge around assessing those drainers and drivers in your life. I promise you, it's one of the best things that you'll do for your professional career, bottom line, and also to gain clarity on your life as an individual. So, Tony, thank you again, man. Much love. Appreciate it a ton. And we'll talk to you guys.